I'm in Minnesota, and I end up meeting a guy who was at the time, he's now the executive producer for Nickelodeon, but he used to be um, head of marketing for Paramount Pictures at the time.
Purpose driven living, that's the motto. Purpose driven living, boy, that's the motto. If God orders my steps, then I'ma follow. We just steward the gifts that we borrow. Purpose driven living.
I want to transition a little bit, man, because you've pretty much parlayed your writing into a film, man. This is I just need to know this process, man, because that's not it's not an easy thing to do. There's a learning curve in terms of the technology just alone. But it's about, at what point did you decide to make your book a movie? And tell us a little bit about the process, the learning curve, if you will.
So I'll say, man, it's you were right. It's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. I took this class called adapting your novel for the big screen. Okay. It's at the Writing Center up in Bethesda, Maryland. And I thought it was a class that was going to teach me how to turn what to put in my novel that Hollywood producers want to see in order to adapt it into a movie. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. Let me go ahead. And I paid $50 for the class. I never forget, drove up here to Bethesda. I'm all excited. Like, yeah. Man, they flew a Hollywood producer in there to pretty much teach us how to write movies. Okay. And I'm sitting there the whole time in class, like bored out of my mind. I'm like, man, because I had just finished Thinking for My Family. I was in the process of learning self-publishing. And so I wanted to be the best self-publishing I could do. You know what I mean? Right. And so I'm thinking I'm trying to put the best forth in my book, and he up here talking about writing movies. Like, I was like, man, I don't care nothing about writing no movies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, man, and everybody goes to lunch. I brought my lunch. I'm sitting there, and I'm eating. I finished eating or whatever. He just sitting there chomping on his food. He gets done. It was that awkward silence, you know what I'm saying, in the room, just me and him. Right. And he's like, Sheldon, so tell me a little bit about your story. I was like, man, I write novels, man. I ain't writing no movies, whatever. He said, well, just tell me the story. So I told him the story, the storyline, whatever. And he said, do yourself a favor and turn it into a movie.
Hey family, it's your boy Quintrell Lenore here with brand new merch to keep you guys looking good this season. We have long sleeve, short sleeve, as well as hoodies. Check us out at gumroad.com/PDL apparel. We got all the swag you need to stay covered in purpose.
I write a movie script for it, write a screenplay. I said, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. So I left that class, self-published Thank You for My Family, then went and wrote Married with My Family, another novel. Wow. And I was like, after I got done with that novel, I said, you know what? All right, I took notes from the class. I said, let me go ahead and write this screenplay. So I wrote it, wrote the screenplay, and then got more rejections. I actually looked up last month. In my emails, I have a total of 687 rejections. That includes all the books and the movie. So like, I mean, tons of rejections. So I want people listening to realize it doesn't come easy. Yeah. Just know that, and trust in your gift and believe in your gift. If God put it in your head, it's for you. Just okay. I said it already, but
that's
I just
good.
Mention that. But so I wrote the screenplay, got turned down a bunch of times. And in spite of receiving a 7 out of 10 rating on Blacklist, which anybody who's a screenwriter knows that's a pretty high rating on Blacklist for my movie. I got rave reviews on how funny it was. Still, no production companies wanted to mess around with it. So I said, okay. I was in the process of, financially at that time, I was in the process of getting involved with real estate. And I saved up some money. I was going to buy me a rental property. And I was going to, because Maryland's a tax lien state, so you can get some houses through the tax lien by paying off other people's tax liens and all this stuff, whatever. So I did my research, and I was going to go to an auction and get this house, whatever. And then I fly to Minnesota for a writer's conference for novelists this time. I got it right. So I'm in Minnesota. And I end up meeting a guy who was at the time, he's now the executive producer for Nickelodeon, but he used to be head of marketing for Paramount Pictures at the time.
Okay.
And he was there doing a class, and he said, he's teaching this class about screenwriting, and it was about having your novel turned into a movie. And I was interested in that. Man, so he said, hey man, I told him after class, I said, look, I did all these things. I said, I already took this class. I know how to write screenplay. I already wrote the screenplay. I said, dude, I'm getting all these rejections and whatnot. He said, you need an agent, you need this, I said, I've already tried all those things. He said, well, let me ask you this then. Have you looked into making the movie yourself? And I was like, no, I ain't looked into that. He said, well, do you think you can make it yourself? I started thinking about the scenes and everything in the story. I said, well, maybe if I get creative, I think I could probably make it myself. The whole flight back from Minnesota, I started writing out, okay, what I think everything, I was really setting my budget. I didn't even know it at the time, but I was setting my budget, what I thought stuff would cost, who could I get to film it, who has the equipment to do it, all this, whatever. And started doing my research, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna stay with these houses. Because I don't know the first thing about making a movie. I wrote a screenplay just off a whim. Somebody said I should do it. So I was like, all right. So I talked to my brother who owns 2 or 3 rental properties, and I tell him about it, about how I want to get involved in real estate or whatever. And then he was like, but what about your books and your movie? He said, you said you wrote a movie, right? I said, yeah, I did write a movie. And he was like, well, why don't you take that money and make the movie? And I was like, dude, cause it's more guaranteed money in rental property, Right. And he was like, Shelton, you don't want to be out here dealing with these renters and dealing with all this stuff. He said, if your heart ain't in it, this real estate game is horrible if your heart ain't in it. If this ain't really what you want to do, he said, you're gonna hate it. He was like, take a chance, make the movie. And I was like, and my brother, a lot of people don't know this, my brother was a very, very special part. He played a very, very special role in getting that movie made, because if it wasn't for him motivating me and keeping me pushed throughout the entire time, I probably would have, I probably would have gave up, probably would have just thrown in the towel. Even sometimes when we were on set, I had to step out and call him like, man, dude, like, but he just kept telling me, Shelton, you got to push through, you got to push through, you got to do it. And he was 100% right. But I thank God that I had my brother to help me push through, so, but that's how it ended up getting made. That's how I ended up doing it. And pulled the trigger on it, I said to myself, decided January 2019, I was going to make it. And we were on set March of 2019. I did everything, like casting, every locations, everything within a matter of like a month or two, and was on set, which is not the way you should do it. But you learn so much after you.
Hi, at Lenore Coaching, we work with a wide variety of job seekers, including students, early career professionals, and experienced professionals, with services including job search strategy, career exploration, personal branding, networking, interview preparation, as well as resume and cover letter writing. So you guys can contact us first by reaching out to our website, which is www.lenorecoaching.com.
You can also contact us via social media. We have Instagram and Facebook pages, Lenore Coaching LLC.
Just like your novels get better after you write the first one, your movies get better after you make the first. It's no different. You just got to trust the process. That's all.
Wow.
Sorry for the long-winded answer, but
no, it's crazy because I have this list of questions in front of me, bro. You drop gems on like 4 or 5 of these questions, and it's crazy because one thing I picked up here is you're a lifelong learner, man.
Absolutely, yes.
You've obviously done your research, and whatever your craft is, I keep hearing this repeat theme of you researching. So even though you went to that workshop, that was an accident. Mm-hmm. You were intentionally going out of your way, investing into yourself, how to become a better writer, right?
Absolutely.
I hear again, like you went to the conference in Minnesota. You're continuing to invest in yourself, and I think that's a takeaway for anybody that might be listening. Whatever their craft is be a learner, and you're learning in the area that you sort of love. But the also thing is the power of networking. Some of us are definitely more extroverted, or they might be masters of woo, or just good communicators. No matter if you're an introvert or extrovert, whatever your strength is, you have to network in order to get somewhere in some sort of fashion. And it's just crazy, you sort of rubbing elbows because you're not necessarily trying to get a sponsorship, but you were trying to learn your craft, but you also networking along the way. And I think the other thing that I picked up on is is, you know, you share more. It wasn't 200 rejections, but it's 600 rejections. And so for anybody, I think that having somebody speak life over you, that confidence piece, your brother was a huge part of you being, your tank getting filled up and staying encouraged throughout this process, because it can be disheartening from what it sounds like. And
absolutely,
a lot of listeners could pick that up. So anybody that's out there, the hope is finding your tribe, finding folks that can help you to stay encouraged and built up along the way here, man. That's awesome.
Yes, the library and YouTube are your friend. So I'm serious, man. So many people think, oh, well, you got to have money. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It costs money to go to these writers' conferences and stuff like that. However, you have plenty of free resources. You have the library and you have YouTube. I promise you, you can make tons of headway in learning and in practicing your craft. I didn't have, in the writing software for writing movies is Final Draft. That writing software costs $200. It costs money. However, my first 4 movies I wrote on Microsoft Word. You can write movies on Microsoft Word too for free. There's so many people think you need money. I need money for this. I need money for this. There's so much you can do without money.
Right.
But you just got to put in the work. That's all. That's it. Just put in the work. You know? But
I want to ask you to that point, Shelton, and I'm gonna preface this. Like, I don't want you to put any numbers out there, because this isn't about the financial aspect or the success aspect. But I do want to be sort of transparent with whoever might be listening. You've pretty much made a business case for your investment. So you referenced that, you know, you were dabbling with real estate, and your brother helped you sort of process whether or not you want to invest and scale your investments on the real estate side versus, you know, going all the way in with creating this film. Tell us, for you, you know, what was the sort of the return on investment sort of frame of thought? What sort of business case were you making when it comes to you going to conferences or investing in certain technology equipment for you to go the next level? Because you were very transparent in maximizing your free resources. So I think it's helpful for those that are listening to understand, you know, how to be smart financially with the craft that they're in.
Hey, what's going on, family? Do not forget to check out the music that inspired the movement, PDL. This project is by yours truly, Quintrell Lenore. It's streaming on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, you name it, go check it out. This project was produced by Dilly Got It Bumpin'. It's awesome music to help you guys stay motivated and to worship in this season.
I will say this, the lesson I learned as far as spending money on anything as it involves to what you're pursuing is, if you don't have a tangible ROI, it's not worth it. Meaning, most of the time, I'll give you an example, publicists. If the publicist can't guarantee that you'll be on a certain thing, or so if it doesn't have any guarantees with it, it's not worth it. If you're spending money on marketing, again, marketing usually has no guarantees. It's not worth it. You can self-market, you can self-promote. There's no guarantees. The conferences that I went to, they guaranteed that you would have an opportunity to speak face-to-face with literary agents who are interested in books of your genre.
Okay.
That's why I said, okay, that's worth it. Because like I said, I've been rejected over 250 times at that point in my life. So I was like, I need to speak to somebody in person. I know me. My emails have gotten better over the years, but in person, I'm strong. In person, I'm strong. I'm way more confident. People understand my humor a lot better in person. I do better in person. I don't know other way to say it.
That's good.
And so I did. I went to the conference, and when I went to the conference, I got every one of those agents requested a copy of my book. Now, they one agent in particular was interested, but she said she was ready to make me offer. However, she said she didn't know how she could possibly market the book, so she decided to turn it down. But it doesn't negate the fact that all 6 of them were interested. And I say 6 because I went to not only Minnesota, I also went to one in DC too. But again, as far as money's, to answer the question, if you don't have a tangible ROI, something that you can say, okay, I'm spending my money on this. This is what I have because I spend my money. Don't do it. You can market yourself. You can promote yourself. If it's something you can do yourself, do it. Because not only will you might say, oh, but it take a lot of time. Well, you're learning experience for in the future. If you have the money to hire somebody, then you have the experience to know what you're looking for when you hire that person.
Absolutely. No, that's a good gem right there, man. There's definitely so many different services and things that folks can invest in, but being smart with what we're investing
right.
is the big takeaway. That's awesome, man.
Purpose-driven living, that's the motto. Purpose-driven living, boy, that's the motto. If God orders my steps, then I'ma follow. We just steward the gifts that we borrow. Purpose-driven.